For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated. More often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast.
The Cronulla Sharks 58, the West Tigers 6, and an absolute shellacking that I don't think even the most confident Sharks fans might have seen coming. We'll turn the music down a little bit as we welcome in our dear friend, Mr. Franklin. We'll keep the song going in the background, will we, Franco?
Oh, may as well. It was a good time for that song after a bit of a dry spell.
Oh, God, didn't we? Didn't we certainly need it? We'll just put up I had a lot of fun riding the tick up as the Sharks 58 beat the Tigers 6. Tries to basically everyone, including Iro Mulatalo with a hat-trick, Cattell with 2, Ueli Nikora, Ramian and Trindle with 9 out of 10. Thank you for joining the ET Stand, the Cronulla Sharks fans podcast that lets its talking do the football. We're in for a fun night tonight, reliving one of the great Sharks wins at Shark Park. And a win at Shark Park that was minus my dear friend Franco, who took one for the team so that he could give everyone on YouTube and Facebook right now the most accurate notes about an absolute plethora of tries. And it wasn't a 6-4 win, it was a 58-6 win. So I hope you've got your notes ready, Franco, to go through all of the different moments.
Would not have got that ready in time had I been at the game.
Oh goodness, there was no getting it ready, and apologise for the slight delay. So we'll get into that. We've got lots of comments coming through tonight, which is a lot of fun. So we'll just hit through these. Peter Bissett gave the Tigers a 30.5 start on Sportsnet, so you beauty for him. Harley, you'll be happy tonight. Harley's come through saying, I'm super happy for the Sharks. Great game by all. Pezza, nice to hear discussions about a win for a change. Isn't it, Pezza, to be talking a win? It is certainly nice. Cecil's come through. Sorry, not Cecile. Cecil, you legend. Who's a happy Sharks fan? I'm a happy Sharks fan. Ryan, we're getting the party started. So please do get your 3-2-1s in, Sharks fans, to talk about who you think should be the Sharks man of the match tonight. There's a few to choose from. Harley's come through and given us the score just in case any of us forgotten, 58-6. Ryan said, I need an esky so I can noakes it. Yeah, maybe that should become the verb that we should get onto it. Tomo's come in and said, well done, well played, Sharkies. Well played, was hoping for the Titans, but come this week instead. And Harley's kind of backed that up. Yeah, revenge on the Titans is in round 23. And then Glenn Thompson's come through and said, no, Boldo, don't say that. It's too early. We are not Dragons fans. The grand final's a long way off. I was tongue in jest with that one. Ryan saying that Ronnie was in everything. God, it's so good to get so many comments through from everyone being so pumped up. Goodness, it's so just lovely to see all the positive fan chat. Franco's computer might have been as slow as Braden Trindle running down the sideline tonight, perhaps. Tomo's come through. Fitz, he gave a great rap for Ronnie, although mentioned he goes off over the top, but Ronnie is a spirited player we need at the club. I think Ronnie's the best player at the club, Tomo, but we'll talk about Ronnie some more. And we will cover off what we think has happened to Jesse Colquhoun. It was interesting looking at the text message chat, Franco's reaction on text message of what he saw on camera. Franco, you were not thinking it was an ACL?
Well, no. Looking at him, I was thinking it was an ACL at the time. But after the game, he was, smiles and, chatting with the guys, which, given that win is understandable. But if you'd done your ACL, I didn't think you'd be walking around with a smile on your face. So, expecting the worst, hoping for the best.
At the ground, it looked like one of those non-contact ACLs. And the reaction from the players, you could see... look, I put it in my notes, actually, just my description of what happened when Jesse came out to the bench. It was quite a beautiful, touching moment between him and Ueli and also Tom Hazelton, just the care that those guys just shared for him and also Noxie at the same time. It doesn't look good, Franco. At the ground, it looked like an ACL for poor Jesse, which is just absolutely terrible. Benny's calling, are we back? I don't know. My top 12 come through, up, what a score. Great for our for and against. Well, we know how important for and against is, don't we? We need that towards the end of the finals. And Cecil, yes, run, tricky, run. And then, yeah, Tomo's called out that, yeah, you saw what I saw, Franco. Thought his mood changed. But, yeah, look, we did just win 58-6 and we did need it. All right, well, look, if you'd like to get involved with the show tonight, we've got a couple of people waiting in the green room. We will get to you guys and see what you think of that epic Sharks victory and where does it rate on all-time Sharks victories. But, yeah, Franco, without further ado, do you want to take us through I'm not going to call it the Franco Files. I'm calling it Friday Night with Franco, baby. Take us through try by try, play by play. How did we go? What happened?
Mate, they were fast and furious this game, so I do apologise for any errors or mistakes, but here we go. We'll do our best. In the 4th minute, Atkinson steps through the middle. He can't get a pass through to support, so he takes the tackle, play the ball out wide to Trindle, who goes wide out to Iro. He's got Mulatalo outside him, but doesn't need it. He cuts back inside and tramples Galvin on his way to the try line. Yeah, baby.
It was a good Atkinson run to set up that try too, Franco, I thought.
It was a great Atkinson run.
Yeah,
it was really good, which he showed all night long. He was engaging the line. He was quick. He did that a lot. And it worked from the moment the whistle blew. So that was really good. In the 10th minute, they set off the back of a penalty, an easy try with the Sharks sitting on their heels, fooled by a decoy runner, compounded by our right edge coming in. It became a bit of a simple passing drill for the Tigers, with Fatape scoring. Yeah, it was subtle, but there was a nice play there. They had us all over the shop. We didn't really have anything to do in stopping that try. We were, like I said, flat-footed. They came across. We really had no one in the right position, and it was a really good try, but it looked like a training drill for the Tigers. They'd done a great job there.
And at that point, Franco, the Tigers look back in it, and you're thinking, oh, goodness, what's going to happen here? So
there was an element of oh, here we go. I think we scored first against the Tigers in round 3 as well, and so there was an element of deja vu. What can happen here? But yeah, well, as we'll find out, I think that was maybe not to be a concern. In the 14th minute, Iro gets a try assist. We get some good.
Finally.
We make some good ground off the kickoff, followed by 6 again. McInnes gets close to the line, spinning it left. Trindle pump fakes before getting it out to Kennedy, who then gets it onto Iro, who gets it onto Mulatalo to score in the corner, diving under a couple of players. Iro looked a bit hesitant on that pass, but it did the job, got the try assist, so we can't complain. Well done, mate. Nice. In the 25th minute, I play the ball from Hazleton right on the try line, wide out to Atkinson, short to Nikora, who floats it out to Katoa, who goes over untouched. Just really simple play there. I think the guys were stretched with having a man in the bin. So it was by the numbers, and we'd be upset if we didn't score.
Well, let's leave it for Rob from West Tigers, West Life podcast to talk about the legitimacy of the sin bin, shall we? We'll let Rob come in hot on whether that was a sin bin or not.
Happy to discuss that one.
All right, Rob, that's for you to rebut. I thought it was a sin bin, but we'll see what he says when he comes in. All right, let's keep going, Franco. So what was it, 18-6?
Yeah. We get my favourite rule here. Just a quick note. We get my favourite rule here, the disruptor off a short kickoff. Are you kidding? Running through the line as if he's not trying to contest the ball. Ridiculous. Anyway, 2.5 minutes out from halftime. Tigers with a glut of possession, including that getting the ball back from that disruptor kick penalty. Ramian up out of the line, grabs the intercept, is unable to find support. I think Katoa maybe was running wide, anticipating a bit of a kick. Anyway, Ramian takes the tackle, though, and Katoa picks it up from dummy half, makes the charge through the try line and barges over for his second, which he makes a habit of doing against the Tigers. Halftime, 24-6. Tigers with more possession than the Sharks at this stage.
It was against the runner play, that one, though. That was.
It was absolutely against the runner play. We were under all sorts of pressure there. I did have a look to see where Ronnie's feet were in that one. I think it was a bit of grey there. I think he might have been offside. Again, we'll let Rob talk about that one. But he was right up in that line. So in the 48th minute, Ronaldo gets another set as he gets us another try. Good little set play after a play of the ball close to the line. Brayley long out to Atkinson. He has Iro cutting in. Kennedy out the back, and Atkinson splits them, sending the ball to Mulatalo on the wing. The defense is in 6s and 7s, and he dives over in the corner to score. I don't know what Fittler was saying on Channel 9, but I reckon he was a jinx for Trindle to miss that kick, as we'll find out. That's the only kick he missed all night.
Is that the one where you could see Fittler in the view of the camera?
Yep.
Yeah, we noticed that at the ground. Yeah, right.
Yep. He normally has a bit of a special where he predicts a kick and talks about the mechanics of the kicker and what they're thinking, and I can only assume that's what he was doing there, and he's certainly jinxed Nico in the past, and he's done it to Trindle here. In the 55th minute, off a couple of quick play of the balls, we get a crash play that finally works. Ueli busts through almost untouched and lives up try July, which was pretty good. Nice to see. In the 58th minute, catching the bomb, Kennedy flicks it out wide to Mulatalo, who shimmy shakes, shows the ball in the dummy half, and then slices through to the defense, runs 50 meters, gets the ball back into Trindle, who was doing it all to keep up, almost drops it, but manages to hang on. Pops a one-handed pass around the back of a defender, back to Mulatalo, who sprints for the corner to score. I don't know what it looked like at the ground. I kind of think it was back, but there was one angle there where it's a bit questionable. So, yeah, we'll maybe discuss that one a bit later, unless you got some thoughts on that one, Boldo.
I thought it looked fine at the ground, Franco. I didn't even notice that was even questionable.
Yeah, alrighty.
But I am noticing I don't think Trindle's as quick as we would like him to be. Is one thing I'm taking away from tonight's match is a certain.
He is certainly not. I've got a note for that across the board actually. But anyway, 63rd minute, drifting to the right. Who else but Nikora? Nikora running hard against the play, takes a short ball and streams through to score next to the post. Even better, he celebrates with spider shooters. So
that was like the Franco try, that one. It was Franco's favourite player doing Franco's favourite run with Franco's favourite superhero.
Pretty good all round, that one. I was pretty happy. So, yeah, more of that. Nikora just cements himself as one of my favourite players, I think, with that one. In the 77th minute, from one sideline to the other, we swing it wide through the hands with a deep line. The defense just can't keep up. Ramian straightens and barrels over in the corner. It was really good to see that motion. I almost thought Ramian bombed it, but no, he muscled his way over, which was really good to see. And then with 1 minute to go, Hunt makes a barnstorming run, pulled down just short of the line. One out from the ruck to Trindle, who goes himself, is tackled, but spins around in contact and gets the ball down on the line. He'd been itching for a try all game, and finally he gets one. Full time, 58-6. Trindle slotting them from everywhere, 9 from 10.
One of the great high point scoring matches. Where does it sit all time for Sharks matches? I think we might look at that on the Tuesday night show. It's not like we beat the Melbourne Storm or the Penrith Panthers as the premiers. We did beat the West Tigers, who are currently sitting last. So perhaps we won't get too ahead of ourselves. Craig Gearon's come through in the comments and said that a few of them had the best games they've ever had. I don't disagree. Iro, Atkinson, I think Mulatalo and Brayley have had better games than that. I thought it was nice from Ueli to see them get back. Before we bring Rob Bashara in from the Westlife podcast, if you are enjoying the ET Stand podcast tonight, and if you enjoyed that Sharks win, do hit the subscribe button if this is the first time you have ever watched this show, or do hit the like button to tell. It just signals to other Sharks fans that you've enjoyed the show that you have seen tonight. All right, let's bring him in straight from the West Life podcast. We're Sharks fans. We always treat opposition fans with respect and especially given the night that poor Rob's had, with kindness and just respect. And I do think Rob is an absolute legend. Let's get him in. G'day, Rob. How are you doing?
G'day, boys. How are we?
Better
Very well,
than
Rob.
you.
Definitely better than me. Just when I think there are no more new lows for the Tigers, back-to-back wooden spoons, running last this year, I was kind of looking forward to coming on the podcast tonight, and I have to come on after a 52-point loss. So there's another new low in podcasting. But we're here now, and we'll have a good chat about the game.
Yeah, it's just like some of your co-hosts on the West Life podcast had genuine belief of a victory. I think you were perhaps more realistic, but I don't think even the staunchest of Sharks supporters weren't seeing a 52-point win. Were the Sharks good, or were the West Tigers not good, or were you just a bit lucky? What was your take?
No, look, you guys played well, but I don't think we showed up defensively. We made a lot of changes positionally with our back line. So I don't know if you guys follow or watch much of the West Tigers play, but Galvin and Caesar swapped sides. They were playing. They normally play left and right. They went the other way around. Staines went from right wing to left wing. So we did have a few changes there. I thought you guys were really well, and I know you guys obviously love Nico Hines, but both your halves ran straight and direct, and it made your attack a lot better. Nico seems to run very sideways and likes to turn the ball in. So I thought Atkinson and Trindle did a great job for you blokes. All your players really played well. You didn't even have a weak link. It was just a good all-round performance. But again, you have played the team that came last 2 years in a row and currently running last. And we've had 40 points scored against us last week by the Storm, 40 points the previous week by the Roosters. So, and we do have quite a young team. So, and playing away from home, you guys have got more to play for. It was just an awful night. It's very hard, especially like doing the Westlife podcast. It's very hard to be objective without hurting fans' feelings, because they think, oh, well, you don't love the club if you're bagging the players or bagging the coach. But I kind of expected not a 58-6 score, but I certainly expected a 30 sort of point score, the difference. Although I did predict with you, Boldo, 28-16 the other night, just to try and make it sound a little bit more reasonable. But yeah, in terms of the punt, it was a very profitable night. But that's the only positive right now for me. Everything else was quite awful.
Which of the three of you guys picked the Ronnie hat trick when I said Ronnie wouldn't score a try because he hasn't been scoring tries?
It was Josh Barnett, because he figured you were going to be the opposite, and he was right, wasn't he? Didn't he have a great game?
Goodness. He did. He did play well. He did.
And it seems like one of our supporters 10 metres out must have really upset him, because he kept pointing the finger at him after every try, saying, keep flapping your mouth off.
So what do you make of Daniel Atkinson? I think he's an absolute boom star player, and I did call it out. And what's even more surprising is that I went on the Westlife podcast, Franko, and I was very, very pro Daniel Atkinson, and I said he would run it. What do you make of him, Rob?
I like him. Like, the first time I really got a good look at him was when he played against the Storm in Melbourne, and he had a great game that night. And just, as Franko was saying earlier, describing the tries, that break that Atkinson made, it was straight up the middle, straight through Stefano Ikamanu. So, most backs kind of take on the backs. They don't really take it up the guts of the forward. So he's obviously got a bit of ticker and backs himself. So, look, very good effort, given he only played a handful of starting games for you guys. So you've got a lot to look forward to. And honestly, if you guys go on a run and your halves play that well, why should Nico come back in? I don't care if he's won a Dally M or not.
What do you think, Rob? You've got 49 missed tackles. So, I mean, we just said, Atkinson ran well, ran up the guts. But when you've got up against an opposition who's missing 49 tackles, I think anyone runs the ball is going to look good, right?
I accept that. But I mean, a back running up the middle of your forward pack, like right through the middle of the field, that's kind of unheard of.
It's fantastic to see.
It's fantastic for you guys. Certainly wasn't fantastic for a bloke who's asking $1 million a season. And, I don't want to be too harsh on Steph. I'm just going to say that he's been hopelessly out of form because he has got all this contract business on his mind, and because his form's really gone downhill the last month, ever since he's been talking about going to other clubs. And as we know, some of these other clubs like St. George, who have made offers, have now withdrawn them. So he's obviously feeling pretty despondent, or maybe he's upset that he might be extending for one more year, or seeing out his contract for one more year at the Tigers, and he's disheartened. I don't know, but I expect better from Steph. I actually thought he should have been picked for Origin prior to game one, and gee, you wouldn't throw him anywhere near it now, given what he's dished up tonight.
Rob, the sin bin, or any of the other moments? Do you think the Sharks?
Yeah, look, I'm not going to blame the refs, but it wasn't a sin bin. I mean, you certainly got a few calls. I think the sin bin was huge. Certainly, Trindle stepped to the left. Appy didn't move his spot. Appy was standing right in front of Trindle when he played the ball, and he moved to the side, and Appy was just playing footy. It's a shame you can't challenge it, but we know that you can't challenge those discretionary decisions. And I think too the one that really broke the camel's back was that intercept on half time. And again, the bunker can't go back and check if Ramien's offside because, as we know, there was a tackle completed 3 or 4 meters out. So you can only review the next tackle. If maybe Ramien had gone all the way, we could have found that the bunker deemed Ramien offside. But the thing is, if Ramien is called offside, I actually think we get a sin bin there because you'd had a few penalties in a row in the quarter line. So it could have been 13-12. We may or may not have got a try and a goal to go into half-time, 12-18. But again, I just think, as you pointed out with all those missed tackles, how are you going to win a game when you're missing that many tackles? I'll blame the ref when we're having a go and, we get ripped off. But sure, like that things happen early in the game. But you can tell in the first 5 minutes if a team's up for it or not. And Stefano missed 2 easy tackles in the first 3 minutes. And I knew there and then, like some of the boys weren't switched on. Adam Dwayhe's been on fire the last 2 weeks. He was absolutely awful in defence tonight. And I love Adam. I know him personally, and it pains me to say it. But, yeah, he was just absolutely terrible. Alex Lobb needs a lot of work. So our right edge was terrible. We had a few guys I actually thought did okay considering. But, again, it's very hard to find positive shoots out of a performance like that.
Rob, before we'll give you 2 more questions, I think. Firstly, If you could take one Sharks player and put them in the West Tigers team next season, who would you take?
Gee, that's a great question. Given who we've got, if we didn't have, if I was picking a team from the start on potential, I'd actually take Atkinson just for his potential. But I think I love Lockie Galvin. Obviously, we got Jerome Luai coming, so it wouldn't be one of your halves. Geez, I'll probably take one of your big boppers, but maybe Hazelton. I like him. I think he's a. I don't know. He just
amongst the Sharks. You wouldn't take a winger. You wouldn't take Ronaldo Mulatalo.
I personally, I think if you're relying on wingers to change your team, you've got massive problems, and we do have massive problems. But I don't think a winger is going to change the course. I'd really personally, I love defensive centers or centers that can do both attack and defend. I told you the other night on the podcast, I thought Ramien and Nikora are a little bit shaky together, and we saw that in the only try that the Tigers got. It came down that edge where Nikora took off real early, and then it caught Ramien out, and you guys looked a bit all over the shop. But yeah, I don't know, mate. Look, not a superstar, but I'll take an Iro. Iro, he's not a world beater in attack, but he'll make his tackles. He'll plug a gap. You see so many guys are good with the ball, and then defending they're rubbish. So I just want a good, solid all-round player. I think we've got a really good spine. Given we've got Coruscant, we'll have Luai next year. We've got Galvin at the moment for at least 2 more years, and we've got Buller, who I hope is a lifetime Tiger. So I think our spine's in pretty good shape. But geez, I'd take any one of your forward pack. Like I would have taken 2 of your blokes off the bench. Like your bench was better than.
How big was the bench?
That bench was huge. I mentioned Wednesday night that was a problem. And again, if you look at our bench, you take Seyfarth out of those 4 blokes, put him aside. The other 3 guys have had 13 games combined for the Tigers this year. Like we have so much inexperience, not only starting on the field,
it's hard with that,
but on the bench. And that's honestly, let's face it, guys. Like I know Benji's a new coach and what have you, but it's a rubbish bench. Like Mason's got to be given some time. Fair enough, he's a utility guy, but Seyfarth is a hybrid middle/edge.
This is like, Rob.
Porter's the same. Porter's not a middle. Porter's a middle sort of. Like he's an edge player that was forced to play some middle tonight. and Sione Fainu was really the only middle there. So we had one real genuine middle compared to your three big boppers there, not to mention Colquhoun, who plays lock or prop. So you guys had four big guys there, really. And I hope Colquhoun's okay, because it really looked bad.
It looked bad.
Looked bad at the time, but I mean, he had the ice on after the game and walking around with a smile on his face. So hopefully it's nothing too serious for you guys.
Hopefully. All right, Rob, give us a quick 3, 2, 1 before we say thanks for jumping on and we stop our Tigers chat, because we are a Sharks podcast, not a Tigers podcast after all.
How do I give a 3-2-1 when you had 17 great players tonight? Jeez. Okay. Wow. I don't know.
And anyone else in the comments, I'll just say quickly whilst Rob thinks. Anyone in the comments, get your 3, 2, 1 in. Who was your man of the match for the 3 and the 2 and the 1?
No, look, I've got to go Mulatalo for 3, just because everything he touched turned to gold. I probably underrated, but I'd give Brayley 2 points, because I haven't seen him have that good a game for a while. He's been quite suspect in defence, so I just think it's a good sign for you guys when he's playing well. I know he probably wasn't in all the highlights, guys, but I love what Will Kennedy did tonight, even though he didn't score a try. I thought Kennedy created a lot of stuff. He was there at the right time. The only bloke that could really tackle Will Kennedy was Adam G. So, you know, he was the best chance of knocking him down. So, look, but again, I reckon you guys could have 10 or 11 different combos tonight, and you couldn't argue with any of them. You had a great all-round performance tonight, and it's just a pity it was against my beloved Tigers.
Yeah, well, Rob, you're an absolute gentleman and legend. It was good fun getting to know you guys this week, and we'll definitely see you guys next season when the Sharkies take on the Tigers again. Thanks for coming in, mate, and we'll see you next time.
We'll keep in touch. Thanks, Boldo. Thanks, Franco.
See you, mate.
See you, Rob.
Buddy. What an absolute gentleman. It is always tough being an opposition fan, isn't it? It's look, we've all felt it and been in that spot. I thought he did well, and then he got into his Tigers chat, though. He was I wasn't sure that the Sharks podcast would necessarily want to hear about the intricacies of the Tigers bench. So, but nonetheless, thanks for coming in, Rob. We'll see you guys next season. If you are enjoying the podcast, do hit the like and subscribe button, and also get involved with the comments. We want to hear about what you thought of the match, who you thought played well and who didn't, as we pull in our next guest, Williams 2.0. We'll give you 5 seconds to just compose yourself. Franco, any commentaries on anything before we bring Williams 2.0 in?
I've got to say, the retro jerseys looked
good. Didn't they?
Looked good. They were on fire on camera, on TV coverage, guys running down the field. That jersey was awesome. That was great. I hope we get to run that one out a few more times.
You know who else looks good? Williams 2.0 looks good after a Sharks win. G'day, mate.
You mean this one?
That's the one.
Here we go. G'day, mate. Obviously, you were at the match tonight. Who do you think were the big winners on the Sharks team tonight? Who needed that big performance? Who really stood up for yours?
The biggest winner is Trindle. Easily.
Yeah.
I said it last week. Him and Nico were trying to take control simultaneously. Unfortunately, Nico did himself a mischief in training. And I said, you know, we need one guy going forward, and Atkinson knows his role. It's quite clear that when Nico gets back, Fitzy's got a bit of a choice to make, because it just looks smoother. It looks more emphatic. Yes, okay, we're playing no disrespect to Tigers fans. They're going to take disrespect to this, but they're an A-grade footy seed. They're not an NRL team. Well,
they're the worst of the NRL teams, aren't they?
Mate, they'd be halfway in the Shire comp. They'd be halfway down the table.
In their defence, they are blooding a lot of juniors who have really came up from the lower grades. They're destroyed all their age group compatriots. They're playing up in age, and they're going to get battered from billet to post. But maybe that'll work out well for them in a couple of years.
But that's recruitment. That's not,
Oh, it sure is.
That's the shambles of a club that they're in. Like, I was there I took my young daughter to her first game tonight, so she was quite happy. We ended up leaving at half time because she was getting tired. But even she was giving it to the Tigers fan. So when a 6-year-old's giving it to you, it's kind of interesting. But I was standing there, my dad was there as well, and he's just look, he's got his old West jersey on because my old man's a Roosters fan, so he's trying to give it to me wearing the West's throwback jersey, and he's just looking at him going, you know, Guy Meir or D'Lo, they'd beat these guys at the moment. The only person you could take out of that team that with an NRL caliber at the moment is Appy. He's the one that holds them together. Like Stefano's supposed to be asking for $1 million a year. You'd be lucky to get 200 after that performance.
You wouldn't take Buller?
No.
Buller wouldn't make our
Over
team.
Kennedy. Kennedy.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's an NRL player. Buller is.
He'd be Newtown at the moment. That's about it. Like he wouldn't get into the team. If you're looking at top 8 teams, who would he get in for? Which team would he get into?
Top 8 teams.
Like if you're a serious footy team and you want to get in top 8, would you take Buller over Tedesco?
He might make the Bulldogs team.
Connor Tracy's better than him.
He might, that's right. Yeah, a big one.
Yeah,
but we're not a Tigers podcast, Williams.
Yeah. Anyway, get on with it.
Yeah, back at the Tigers. We had enough of them. We do like the Tigers, but
it's payback.
All right,
for round 3 or whatever it was.
So Trindle was obviously a big winner. I think he did himself no harm tonight. Look, we were also critical of Brayley, especially you in terms of the run, for crying out loud.
I'm going to start asking for compensation for these comments because they must watch this, because I said to him he needs to get out more, he needs to do like what Appy does. I think it's the first time I've seen him in the last year or so to get out, and he looked amazing tonight.
Brayley's first run was in the 5th minute compared to last week of the 65th minute. Big difference. Admittedly, we didn't get the ball for like 20 minutes in the last game, but generally looked to engage more. 11 runs for 78 meters. Really stepped up. Really did well.
It's not just the running game. It's even just like darting and drawing that first marker in. Like I was saying the other week, instead of going back the other way like Happy does, he drew that first marker, then got it going. Bring the forwards onto the ball. He's not just standing there delivering. He's getting out. Maybe it's because we've got a young half in Atkinson who needs a bit of help. But I think the forwards, like I could tell, we took the kickoff and Royce took it up, and I was standing in the Family Hill, and I could see he was charging. He was ready for it tonight. Like as soon as he took.
What about Kaufusi? What about Kaufusi with 5 seconds left? No, but what about Kaufusi off the kickoff with 5 seconds left? He was not mucking around.
No, and that's what the thing is. Like, okay, yes, we're playing the Tigers. It's a good confidence booster, but it's also about the attitude. It's also about, right, we're playing to the last minute, which is what we got to do against the big teams, you know? So it's fair play to the boys because, as I said, they all stepped up. You could probably have 15, 16 guys win the 3 points tonight, which is something that we haven't had in about 2 months.
Well, yeah, I think other than Jesse Colhoun, I think all of them might have been eligible for the 3-2-1s. SJD's come through, giving us his 3-2-1. He's calling out 3 for Ronnie, 2 for Tricky, and 1 for Ramian. Kylie Green said Brandon Hamley-Ueli. Kylie sits in front of us in the ET stand. It's good to see you tonight, Kylie. Oh, goodness. I'm not going to bring up Paul's comment yet. We're going to get back to Paul's comment in a minute. Not this. Tomo said, great strip tonight. Yep, we do agree with you, Tomo. That did look particularly good. And then Paul's also taunting you there, Williams 2.0, that he's calling out that your eyes are painted on from Bull as a kid, maybe. SJD's then said, we do know that the coach watches this podcast. We definitely know that he is listening. And yeah, Craig has said, where do we play Talakai next game? Because as Paul said, Talakai should be in the centres. It takes defence more than an act to be good at the centres. Where does Talakai go next week? Williams 2.0.
Well, Jesse Colhoun's out for the season by the looks of it, so back on the bench he goes.
He's gone.
And just as like it depends on the front row as well. If you're going to stick with Hunt, it gives us another X factor off the bench.
Yeah, because if we have Hunt, why? Because if we have Hunt as a starter, then we need some X factor. And
I thought the bench really did well tonight. I think Tommy came on and did a pretty good job, and you could see from where I was standing, they were changing angles a lot more. So they weren't just running straight at the guy; they were going into the gap, which would draw another guy and 2 or 3 guys in.
There was a lot more support play as well tonight. I felt there was, someone following the ball carrier almost every hit up, which has been rare for us the last few weeks. So, even though they didn't get the ball, it just puts that second thought into the defense's mind.
It's second phase play, mate. Like if you get second phase play going, like your Penriths and your Melbournes and your Roosters, it's going to create doubt. That's what we need. But, you know, it's a good start. Unfortunately, we got the bye next week because it's probably come at the wrong time that we put in a performance like that. But, you know, we get the Cowboys up there with, I think, all of their players back from Origin. So that'll be a good test, followed by South, who they looked all right.
Might have Latrell back.
They might have Latrell back. Like, you know, they're going to be pushing. Like, whether they can make the ad or not, I don't know. I think they've left it too late. But everyone's saying, oh, we've only got Manly who are in the top 8. Yeah, but you've got a really good South team who are starting to find a little bit of form now that old man Wayne's coming down. Cowboys are no mugs up there. So a couple of tough games before we even get to Manly. So, and the way we've been playing, we can get knocked off. If we go back to the Titans game or the Bulldogs game, and well, not necessarily the Bulldogs game, but a couple of those games where you're questioning what the hell's going on, you know, we can't take any game lightly.
Indeed. Well, we called it out last week that we thought the Sharks needed to win 3 more matches between now and the end of the season to be sure a top 8 spot. They have now won 1 of those 3 that they would definitely need. I think we can almost say for certain we're going to make the finals, but you never know with the Sharks. We could easily lose every match from here, couldn't we, Franco?
2006. Everyone said we were certs for the finals. We were going to kill it. And then we lost 10 in a row. So
yeah,
cut that talk.
I'm telling you, if we miss the finals this year, then the questions are going to be asked of Fitzy. Honestly,
I think that's fair. All right, Williams 2.0. Who was your 3-2-1 difficult one?
It's easy to give it to Ronnie, and I'm going to give it to Jesse. I think he was damaging ball runner all night. Made his most. I found out when I got home, he made his most meters of all in his career tonight. 232, I think it was, something like that. 2, I sprayed him last week because of it taking the ball off Nico, but I think Trindle stood up. I think his goal kicking was immense tonight, as well as his just general play. He was just very organised, leading the team around the park. 1, I'm going to give it to Atkinson just because he knew his role. He settled the team down. He settled his attack down. Like, you know, he gave it another option, whereas Tricky and Nicky like to do that sideways movement. He just runs straight and draws more players in. That ball to Mulatalo, I think it was, in the second. That's class. That's just class. Like that, the guy thinks he's going to the center, flips it out wider to Ronnie. It was the perfect ball at the perfect time. So I'll give it to him. I mean, as you said, you could easily have at least 14, 15 guys tonight, minus Jesse and possibly Toby, that could have got them out of the match. So why not? I called for it last week. Atkinson back in the halves. Unfortunately, it's because of Nico, but you know, it worked. So why not?
It worked. Well,
watch this space.
Yes. Watch this space, indeed. All right, mate. Well, it's good to have you on for a positive outcome for once.
For a win.
That was particularly good, and getting the Sharks in for a win. So we'll say, mate, we'll see you next time the Sharkies get a win, mate. It was great to have you in.
Have a good one, boys.
See you, mate.
Yep.
Now, Mr. Franco, I did think of a note before we bring Mr. Trindle Masterclass, who's named himself, in the green room here. Now, would you swap Daniel Atkinson for Luke Metcalf? Now, your little miss, we should never let Metcalf go. I thought to myself, I've got you here, Franco. Atkinson's better than Metcalf. What's your answer, Stephen?
He's not, but it's hard to argue while Metcalf is sitting with his foot up in crutches and only played like 3 games this season. So, no, I'll take a healthy, fast player over one that's watching from a hospital bed. Still kills me. It still kills me. But, yeah, Atkinson's great. He's doing well.
Well, they're similar players, aren't they, really? And so it goes to show us that actually we would have probably gotten a similar outcome with Metcalf, who would have been slightly more advanced than Atkinson. But I think Atkinson is a good pickup. All right, we've got a couple of 3-2-1s have come through. Mazdad's come through with 3 for Trindle, 2 for Ronnie, and 1 for Kennedy. And then Paul's come through saying most encouraging for me is that Braden, Hamlin, Ueli looked fantastic. He did look pretty good. They looked pretty good and fired up. All right, Mr. Trindle Masterclass. Not which referee was it last time you were given a hard time that we had you on? It was whose betting account? Sutton's, wasn't it?
Jared Sutton. But no,
Jared Sutton's
Adam
betting
G had
account.
to let the game flow tonight, which is why he's the best at the moment in the game, Adam G. But another performance tonight, I was actually on Beer Hill with my mates, and it was such a good, outstanding game. It was good to see an outstanding result for a change, and hopefully they can continue that on to the end of the season.
Yeah, what'd you think of the outside backs tonight, the wingers and Kennedy? Do you think
Amazing.
think they're back?
100% we're back. 100% we're back.
All right. Well, what? Just one match? Is that all it takes? Just one match, and you're a believer again, or you think we've got?
I still believe, but what the spike Fitzy must have been given him, in the sheds, of course, the past few weeks, even though we've been poor. But no, it's good to see a win for a change, which is good. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, Franko, do you want to ask our good friend a question here before I think of the next one?
I was just going to say, I mean, there's a bit to go before I think we're back, especially again given the opposition. But we'll see how we go. I think the signs were good in that, yes, we scored 56 points, but our defense was also good. We only leaked one try. Missed tackles were low. It was a good all-round performance. And as a lot of the commenters have mentioned, everyone sort of had a good game. There wasn't any weak links. So it's a good sign that we're on the up and up. Absolutely. The only problem is we don't really have, we talk about the draw. We don't really have anyone to test how that's going. Maybe we'll say the Cowboys because they're a bit hot at the moment and they'll have a bit of a rest from Origin before here. So that'll be an interesting game.
Manly, probably. What do you reckon, Manly?
I guess that depends on Turbo at this stage, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They seem to be a different team at the
100%.
moment with trying to figure out where he fits in. We'll watch them this week, but I think it's one of those things that success is going to cause headaches, right? So we're talking about Trindle, we're talking about Atkinson. If we nail the next 6 weeks, obviously you put Nico straight back in, but it's gonna.
Where do you put him?
Where do you put
straight back into the halves,
exactly.
right? Surely.
Where do you put him? You're the Trindle masterclass. You got it in your head. Where do you put him?
That's a tough one. If Atco and Trindle kill it over the next so and so weeks, then it's going to be hard to drop one player to fit Nico, the Dalian medalist winner of 2022, back in the squad, but leave that for Fitzy to select.
How well does Atkinson and Trindle need to play for them not to pick Nico at halfback? What would do we need?
100%. Has to be 100%.
100% record. So if we win every match, they would. I reckon even at 100%, they still pick Nico at halfback.
Yeah, 100%. It's a tough call to make. It's a very tough call. But
there is nothing they could do to keep Nico out of that team. He is walking straight back in when he's fit and ready to go.
Unless Kennedy was injured.
No, because then you would put Atkinson at fullback.
You would put Atkinson at fullback. You're right.
Stone Street, given he's a fullback.
No, Atkinson, because you try in Boldo's hypothetical, you're trying to fit Nico in at the time that Kennedy is out, so you don't put in another rookie.
There's no scenario.
Yeah, of
There's
course.
no scenario where Nico's not straight back into the team at halfback.
No, Nico will definitely slot back in.
There's none. And Peter agrees with me here. He's saying Nico will be straight in no matter what. It would be a tremendous halfback controversy to have. But yeah, I can't see them. I can't even see them not putting. I can't even see them playing Nico at 6 instead of 7. Nico will be a halfback.
Here is the bad outcome, right? They play amazingly. They don't even have to win all the games, but let's say they win a handful of the games and we do really well, both in attack and defense. Someone like Atkinson is now waiting for an injury to get a go. His manager starts itching and says, "Oh, you're too good for the Jets, you're too good for 18th man. Start rustling some feathers. Let's see if we can get you a contract somewhere else, because we've discussed it on the contract episode. Halves are hard to find, and good ones are even harder to find. So
Yeah.
that could be a problem. Want him to do well, obviously, but
Yeah, of course.
Who do you keep now, Braden Trindle or Daniel Atkinson?
Trindle for me.
Atkinson for
Trindle
me.
and Hines in the halves for me.
Hines and Atkinson for me, but I guess that's the thing. All right, mate, give us your 3, 2, 1. What did you think
All
tonight?
right.
Who was your man of the match? Obviously, it's Trindle. You're going to go man of the match?
I'm going to split it between Trindle and Mulatalo. 2 points for me. Ueli, 1 point for me. Tough one to make, but they all played well, so I won't give anyone 1 point. So just leave it 3-2 for me tonight. So everyone played out of their skin tonight, so they deserve to praise the boys.
Well, we can give them a few points from the last couple of weeks when we didn't give points out, so we can dish a few extra ones out tonight, can we? All right. Well, thanks for getting in, mate. We know where you
Cheers,
stand on
mate.
the
Thank
Trindle
you. Enjoy the
Atkinson.
weekend.
We'll
Thank
see you next
mate.
time, and enjoy
Cheers,
the
mate.
bye week too.
Thank you. Fins up. Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Fins up, indeed.
Yep.
There we go. Oh, so many legends. If you'd like to get if you'd like to get involved in the show tonight, we'll just put this link up back again. What do I do? I invite and copy that and just paste that in. If you'd like to join the show and have your say on what you thought of the brilliant Cronulla Sharks this evening, by all means get involved in the show. Peter Bissett's come through and said that he agrees with Atco, with me.
Well, they're both contracted to 2025, if that helps or hinders anyone's thought process.
So we've got them both next year.
So we've got them both next year.
Yeah.
And they're both off contract November 1st.
Right, so they'll be able to talk to teams for next year. Craig Aaron's come through. It's going to be hard if our halves get injured, suspended before Nicholas is back.
Yeah.
That will be
You've got to think that Peru's going to start hopefully lifting his game in the Jets, because he's certainly next man up in that scenario with Dykes out injured. And we're a bit thin there now. So, yeah, certainly he's for the taking to show that he can step up.
We might get
another injury occurs, or
we might get a left field, and McInnes or a Talakai or something crazy if
That's true. I mean, we did see it against the Storm with Atco and McInnes. So
didn't go too badly.
We got a win. So yeah.
We did. SJD's come through pointing out that Blake Brayley had 11 runs tonight, which is more than his 3 last games combined. Whilst that's true, it is easy to run against the West Tigers. Now, a couple of observations from me tonight at the game before we ask Franco for his coverage observations. The Sharks were instructed from the bench to take the 2, I believe, at 24-6, and did not from the bench. Blake Brayley ignored the bench and chose to go for the try. And do you know what happened afterwards, Franco?
I don't. You have to tell me when that was.
They scored.
I was looking up the time to the tries. I was like, nah.
Yeah, no, they scored. That was the one where they got it out wide, and then that was actually the one. I think it was the try before the one that Trindle missed the kick. So I remember thinking at the time that you got the kick out wide. So actually, it was only worth 4 points. But here's a question for you: is it a worry that the players are overruling the coaches from the sideline, or you think that's just a bit of Boldo?
Not in a game like tonight. That's not a problem. They were on fire. They smelt blood. They could probably sense the fatigue in the Tigers a little bit better than the coach or the bench could. So I'm happy for them to make that call. Obviously, it worked out well. If it doesn't work out well, they've got to suffer the consequences when they get back in the sheds. But in this scenario, nothing to answer for it.
What was the score at the goal where Trindle missed the kick? What was that score?
I
thought it was 24-6. Because at 24-6, obviously, if you go ahead by more than the 3 tries, it's shut the gate and game over. I think
it was half time was 24-6.
It was 24-6 at half time, so it would have been the first. Yeah, maybe the first try. Who scored the first try after half time?
Oof.
Pete
One
Bissett's coming
moment.
through, confirming that it was 24. So let's just run with that. But yeah, so
Go with that.
let's run with that. Look, I reckon the Sharks were so confident. Brayley was just like, oh, we're just going to score here, and maybe he just didn't think it that required the look back to the team. That's for sure. And then beyond that, because it kind of subdued Shark Park, it wasn't like the Sharks fans really needed to get into the match or needed to support them. There was a bit of canned Sharkies, where they do the old trying to get the Sharks fans to chant Sharkies when we're 52 to 6 points up at the end of the match. And Chris and I looked at each other and said, we're not at Parramatta Stadium for crying out loud. But look, you can understand why they do that some of the time. And then beyond that, one of my bugbears, Cronulla Sharks, is that when Channel 9 has the game, they put those stupid things up that block the damn screen from Sennheiser for the extra sound things. Poor David Bolderman couldn't see the damn screen, so that's bloody annoying. But happens. Other than that,
That's why there's 2 screens.
yeah, the other screen up the other end's a bit small. How was the commentary tonight, Franco? Did you watch it on Fox or 9?
I watched it on Fox. It was a Dan Ganane production.
Oh, you love Dan
I'm not a
Ganane.
fan of Dan Ganane. I was not a fan of his calling tonight either, but it was a double whammy with Corey Parker, who I know you don't appreciate.
Oh,
So
I can't stand Corey Parker.
probably lucky you weren't watching this one tonight. I have recorded the
Goodness.
Channel 9 game and look forward to watching that one back. But
That'll
yeah,
be good fun watching that back, won't it?
The Fox coverage, they were certainly pro Tigers. But I think we've discussed on many occasions that they try to talk up the losing team unless it's the Sharks. So yeah, I was not
enough.
enamored with Ganane again tonight, but anyway, he did what he did. So
He just
yeah.
Dan Gananed it. All right, well, look, everyone in the comments, if you haven't got your 3, 2, 1 in yet, by all means, do get them in. Are there any players we haven't covered who we think should get some noise?
It's I guess it's time to talk about the redemption stories. So Rudolph was dropped. Ueli was playing in the Jets. No one thought he was playing well, in and out of the team with limited minutes. And Hazleton copped a bit of stick for the last few weeks of being a bit of a powder puff and not really hitting the line hard. So the 3 of them, their redemption stories, how do you think they went? Do you think they have turned a corner? Do you think the energy was back? Do you think they've earned another go round or a reprieve from fans?
I think they got the opposition team that they needed at exactly the time that they needed it. I think the injuries also, the suspension to Talakai got one of them back in the team who otherwise wouldn't have been back in the team. So fortunate, sure. I thought, Toby and Ueli.
Williams
I thought
injury.
Ueli. Yeah, I thought, the Williams injury as well. Yeah, I thought Ueli looked more pumped up than Toby did. Toby looked serious tonight from my views of him on the bench. Like there was not the, if this had been 2 seasons ago at 58 points to 6, you would have seen Toby Rudolph dancing around and kind of doing some fun stuff. He was looking at that match seriously tonight. He was, it was a considered approach because did he need that game. And then Tommy was just big Tommy. But yeah, just the size of our bench when you've got, Kaufusi, Royce and Tom Hazleton all on the bench at the same time. These are massive players. And so if we can, we've got McInnes and some of these other guys and Brayley that can play 80 minutes just means we've got this brilliant size off the bench, which is particularly difficult to deal with. And the Tigers, they picked a small bench and they just couldn't handle these guys. I thought Kaufusi and Royce also are going to hold their spots. I look at the energy that Kaufusi had on that kickoff at the end. He is not given up his starting spot, and Royce is playing for a contract. So great spot for the Sharkies to be in. I don't think any of them hit the lights out and made us think that, about them differently, like perhaps Trindle or Atkinson or Ronaldo did this evening, but they didn't do their chances any harm. I don't think we'll see Big Tooks unseat any of them this week is my take. What was your take? Franco, you
Yeah.
share that position?
Certainly Hazelton was hitting the line hard. Again, you basically said, yeah, we can't ignore the opposition, but he rolled his sleeves up. He was energetic. He really ran hard. I thought Ueli was just full of energy. He was going strong. He was hyped for a big game, and he was on for some good minutes too compared to his last few first grade stints. And then Rudolph, you're right, he was all business. There was a couple of, I think he gave away a 6 again, basically his first tackle of the game. But ultimately, he was there. He was busy. He was, I thought, strong in defence, trying to get everywhere. Didn't see the usual hands on hips, hands on knees kind of Rudolph that we've seen the last few weeks. So I don't know whether that was just load management or if he was, as you said, just focused and trying his best. But I thought the three of them, stood up, maybe have listened to some critical feedback and have taken that on board. And probably worth mentioning it. We sort of touched on it earlier on in the show, but probably throw Brayley in there as well. He really looked good tonight. He was engaged. He took the line on, and really directed the attack. So I thought he did well. That was really good.
If you're enjoying the show, please do hit the like button if you're having a fun time watching the ET stand. And then if you're not a subscriber and you're new to the channel, please do hit the subscribe button. And shout out to all those peeps watching or listening on Spotify, which might be tomorrow by the time I get to uploading this one, Franco, because goodness, we could just talk about this all night, couldn't we? A couple of comments through. Cecil, your legend, has come through and said, big Tommy under the high ball. Oh, how good was that? We haven't talked about Tommy under the high ball. That was one of the great catches.
That was very good. It was excellent to see. And almost, I don't know who it was it Katoa or someone there, almost filthy that they didn't get the ball, and Tommy just plucks it out of the air. It was
Tommy
hilarious.
doesn't exactly need to jump, does he?
Nope. It was right in the sweet spot. That was brilliant.
So good. And Mazdad comes through with the Tommy rebound, classic. And then Craig Gearon's come through. Craig's awarded his 3-2 wonder, 3 to Atkinson, 2 to Iro, 1 to Trindle. Have we seen the corner turn by Kale Iro now, Franco?
Sorry. I'm glad that he got that pass away for a try assist. He was in everything today, but it's easy to be biased to your players. We've been waxing lyrical on everyone. No one had a bad game, no weak links. You're scoring 58 points to 6. Everyone looked good. Everyone was strong. Everyone did the right thing. Even Ramian, who had a few rocks and diamonds to start that game off. No one's talking about some of his silly plays that he did at the beginning of that game. Few typical dumb Mulatala, dumb Ramian plays and errors, but comes out the other side with 200 runs and a try, and killed it. So we can't really say he had a bad game because he had a fantastic game, but we'll have to wait and see what the next few weeks are going to look like. And again, with Colhoun out, we don't know how long Williams' wrist injury is going to be. So Talakai goes back onto the bench, and Euro gets to keep playing his trade and getting better. So it's not a problem we have to worry about just yet, I don't think.
We are starting to just look a little injured, as Francis called out on this week's episode. Teams towards the end of the season can cop a couple of injuries. We're 2 or 3 injuries away now in those forwards from looking skinny, which is something we might not have said before. But here we go.
Yeah.
Mazdad's come through, said, yes, Hero looked classy today. He looked all right. Not sure what vantage point you were watching the match from, Mazdad. Not sure where in the stadium you were. And this is the other comment. We finally did have a smart challenge.
Was it smart?
Well, they won.
They won it, but that could have gone either way. That was a bit of a 50-50, I thought. Glad to have won it, and I would have been upset if we didn't win it, but you know, that was in the laps of the bunker there, that one. But we'll take it. We'll take it for sure. I want to talk about bombed tries, Boldo.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So we had a couple last week. We had a couple the week before.
Yeah.
This week we had Atkinson taking the line on with players outside him that he could have passed to score, but he had a bit of white line fever. We had Ramian drop with the line wide open with the potential Katoa try assist. So that
Ben
was
Pomeroy style.
very much Ben Pomeroy style, very catchable. And then the Mulatalo tap back, which I think Ramian was maybe expecting a disruptor penalty because he looked a bit confused when he ended up with the ball in his hand. Didn't know what to do. Plenty of Sharks players around.
Late in the second half?
Late in the second half. Plenty of
Yeah,
Sharks players
I
around.
thought that was tough on us, that one, actually.
Well, I mean, Trindle just got tackled with the ball. So, you know,
I was thinking the one where they ruled the Sharks knock on. That's a different one. And we also had the one where Trindle got tackled into touch.
I mean, that one could have been considered I don't know, Mazdad, was that the challenge you were talking about? That was also a challenge, and we won that one too. That was a bit better than the other one.
Yeah, but Trindle's not fast enough is one of my worries about Trindle. I guess that's why I like Atkinson.
Well, I
felt that was a bomb try too.
That leads me into my next point, and look, it's hard to complain when you put a score like that on, but ultimately, right, you've got several long breaks, but geez, we really don't have that player across the board that can go the length and burn the opposition for speed. You know, we don't have that player that comes from the other side of the field to link up in support and take the ball and then sprint away. We don't have that guy that you're like,
come back in cover.
Or also come back in cover. You don't have that guy that's like, when he gets the ball, no matter where he gets the ball in the field, if there's no one in front of him, you know he's going to score. And I'd really love to have that player. I don't know where they would fit because I don't know who I'd want to kick out, but geez, I miss having a player with that genuine pace that just gives you that confidence. There were several times there. Well, yeah, I guess.
Bronson Cherry was one of them. Even ET was one of them, really.
ET was one of those, definitely. Rogers, even more recently, I suppose. You know, one of my favourites, good old Stapo. He could do it. So
Leon Bott.
Well, maybe.
He was very fast.
He was very fast until he ate a few too many burgers. Yeah. So I mean, like, we did used to have a whole heap of them, right? Whippet.
Whippet.
You know, even Colin Best wasn't shy of pace. So Holmes, yeah, look at this.
Call, my
Holmes,
top 12.
That's right.
Holmes indeed. How can we forget Valentine?
Mm-hmm.
Even Barber was pretty quick.
Yeah. So I really do miss that genuine pace. I know. Yeah.
Sorry, SJD.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
I'm corrected as saying the challenge was the Caesar strip.
Yeah, that's the one I thought was 50-50. Mazdad. I didn't think that was. You know, like I said, we got it. So happy that we did. But yeah, I think that was maybe not the smart challenge. But anyway, we'll take the call in our favour. But yeah, so I think, you know, again, I think Soane Street, by all reports, from what I've seen in the Jets, he has got that pace. So, you know, maybe we'll see what happens when he gets a few more opportunities and what he has to do with a bit of clean air in front of him. But at the moment, we really miss that, and it was just depressing seeing our guys get run down with each long break we had, and it was just like, oh no, and they'd be like 3 or 4 Tigers players coming across in cover because they're just so much quicker than us, and it was just.
Yeah, it's like when I remember, well, we've got the Newcastle Knights 2016 match where you had Barber stepping the guy when he was chasing him. They don't even have elusive moves. And, you know, you just have those passes that get thrown to Val and then they just score. And so, yeah, you are right, Franco. That is a weakness that we currently do have. It's not like we've got the leaping guys. Tigers did put their tall winger on Ronnie. They switched their wingers, which is not what I was expecting. That kind of worked out for them because I guess Ronnie didn't score much by kicks, but we didn't really need to kick them into submission, did we?
Nope.
All right, Franco, why don't you give us your 3-2-1? What was your view? Who was your man of the match?
Before I do, I just want to say, and this is one that I think is right up your alley, Boldo. Try July. Now, I love it. I love Try July. I think most people do. I think everyone likes seeing players do a try celebration after getting the ball down. However, I would be telling my players to do try celebrations all season. Rugby league is here for entertainment. The cameras love it. The more try celebrations, the more highlights you get into promos for the various networks, the more exposure you get for sponsors. Why just restrict it to the month? It's one of those things that players don't think about. You know, maybe they don't want to be showboating, but because it's for charity, we get 5K per celebration. Let's do it. And I can understand that it's not a good look if you're, maybe lose the game and you're out there carrying on like a lair, but geez, I think we need to do a few more celebrations just all year round, because that stuff, that is gold when you get on all those highlight reels for Nine or Fox, and those sponsors just get front and center. And I think that's a really quick, easy way to do it. You get that reputation as an entertainer. Ronnie sort of got it there with all of his dives in the corner. What if he keeps it up with celebrations after the dive, right? It's just a no-brainer from mine.
Well, there's a few memorable ones, of course. There's Braden Hamlin-Uelian doing the rock.
Which was a Try July.
Which was a Try July. And then there was also the fake one where the Sharks guy pretended to hit his own guy, which I think was also
Try
Braden
July.
Hamlin-Uelian. And look, what's the Greg Inglis highlight that gets played was the Goanna when he runs the 70 meters and scores the try and rolls along. You see it in the NFL a bit where the players get their moment and they've scored touchdowns when their team's getting smashed and they're kind of celebrating. They look a little silly. So I can understand it from that perspective. And I can also understand not wanting to give your opposition a reason to hate you and kind of, motivate them, I guess, for lack of a better
that's
kind
a
of
weak
description.
mentality, though, isn't it, right? If you're worried about how your opposition is going to react to a try celebration. Ruthless killers, let's go. Celebrate.
Oh, yeah, what about Ronaldo Mulatalo doing the Cristiano Ronaldo and doing the soo and, the jump up in the air? Well, that is kind of entertaining. And then when you see Harry Kane and the English football team kick the penalty goal, he did the same celebration that he always does. So it is kind of good fun. I can understand. I would probably have some sort of trademark move. I always liked Alan Shearer and the football used to do the, the kind of waving like this one or something like that. So I can understand your point of view to do them. But sometimes, Ben Hunt's got the
Hammer's got he's got his fins up thing.
Hammer's got his fins, and Ben Hunt's got his kick for the sideline. If I was I could see your point. Also, it's a way of differentiating yourself, right? So
it is. It's branding. It's marketing.
Yeah, it's branding. And so it's like, all right, well, Ronaldo Mulatalo, every time he scores a try, he does X. And so it's, imagine if Hamlin-Uelian did the rock every single time he scores a try. It's like, oh, it's the rock guy. But I also miss them having bespoke music for each player when they scored the tries as well. So it used to be that each player would choose their theme song. And when they scored a try, their theme song played over the PA at Shark Park. It was terrific fun when Toby Rudolph finally scored and they played the Shawn Michaels wrestling music. That was one of the great moments down at Shark Park, and me trying to imitate Shawn Michaels down in front of the ET stand like an idiot. So look, you're right, it is entertainment and anything that's fun. And SJD's just come through and said Whippet song was good. Was that the Whippet song? Do-do-do-do-did. Surely it was that
Devo.
song. Was that the song that they used to have? I don't know.
I don't know Whippet's song. I know the song you're referring to, but I didn't know.
I thought it was that song. Maybe SJD can confirm that one for us in the comments.
I was too busy working back when Whippet was playing. So
for those that don't know, Franco was a long time Sharks employee. And yes, SJD's confirmed. Yes, for Helen, yeah, that's the song. And Mazdad's booing Santa here, saying because the old media heads call it showboating or arrogant, but they should do it more. Yes, that's probably right. And then a bit of chat here. Rami and had a 10-meter hard start and still got run down. And then SJD said yes, but good was disciplined that he didn't throw a dumb pass. That is probably right. Anything else for us to cover, Franco, before we get into the 3-2-1?
Yeah,
So much stuff to
not
talk
so
about
much.
tonight. This is good.
Oh, there's plenty. There's plenty, isn't there?
How many more points have you got?
Oh no, not many points from me. But I think it's worth mentioning. We talk about downhill skiing and whatnot. Our back five all ran over 100 meters. Two of them nearly got, Multala nearly got 200 meters. Ramian got over 200 meters. Trindle got over 100 meters. Obviously, a couple of those long breaks that he got run down there. Our props got 100 meters. It was just everyone made meters, and it just goes to show when you are on the front foot like that, when the guys are getting forward, it just gives your halves and Brayley so much more to work with. And so I think we should take that into consideration and just sort of see how we go in the weeks ahead, because that was like they had so much room to move. Because I would like to compliment Trindle and Atkinson for they didn't seem to second guess anything. That can backfire, of course, but they just didn't seem to second guess anything. They were quick. They threw the pass. They took the step and run. There wasn't that stutter or moment of consideration for what they should do, and it really kept that tempo up. But that's all off the back of the platform that was laid. So be interesting to see if they keep that up and how they play if they get on the back foot. Obviously, we'd rather they don't, but through adversity, maybe we'll see what the players are like. But that was just a really good performance by all of them. So I think that's certainly worth a call out. Not to mention, we mentioned, everyone's talking about 58 points, but our defense was great. Only letting 6 points through. I think we only had 7 missed tackles or 8 missed tackles for the game. That's brilliant. You saw at the end of the first half how we just kept turning them away. They had a glut of possession there. So I think that's probably what Fitzy's going to be happy about. Obviously, us, the fans, we're going to be happy about scoring and scoring and scoring. 58 points, you beauty. That's
still
great.
Their first try, though, Franco. They did just classic Sharks, make an error or give a penalty away or whatever it was that just, a little bit of adversity. The Sharks let them in. And when we took that intercept, that was against the run of play. That could have been...
It was a big moment of the game.
It's a big moment of the game. If the Tigers score out wide there and then kick that, it's, maybe they're a more spirited performance and they come back at us a little bit more. But my take on the game, this is what I thought. I don't think we could win the premiership or become a finals force by winning this match tonight. But if we'd have lost this match tonight or put in a poor performance, I think it was curtains for the season. I don't think we'd have recovered. We needed this. We needed the match against the Tigers. We needed to put them to the sword, much like the other teams have, and just show that, we can score, big points. How many times have we had Sharks teams that couldn't even get past 40 points? Like, this is going to be up there with one of the largest Sharks victories. You've got the 62-0 and the 68-6.
Wow.
It's going to be up, I think, maybe 6th or 7th biggest Sharks win ever. Maybe even higher.
As our friend Williams let us know, one more conversion try and Trindle equals Noddy's 28 points in point scoring record. So Trindle was everywhere on the score sheet tonight and almost broke some records.
Oh, yeah, because he had the 18 and he had the 1 try, so he had, 22? I think Kamali's record's 26, isn't it?
Williams says 28, but I'll let you fight
I
that out
reckon
with him.
I'm pretty sure it's 26, Franco. I'll lock that in, Eddie. If anyone in the comments wants to confirm what it is and go look that up, I am very confident that it's 26 points. Actually, I would if I was in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I think I might gamble the money that it's 26 points. Goodness me, that's risky. Someone in the comments get us in there most points in a match for Sharks. Franco, you're looking it up, aren't you?
I'm looking it up, but I'll let someone else look it up if you want.
Nah, tell us the answer. What is it?
Give me a moment. Let's go.
I'm pretty sure. I reckon it's. If only we had someone on our panel who just knew these facts just off the top of their head.
You've just that person you are disagreeing with, so we would be in the exact same situation.
I thought you were saying Williams 2.0 said that it was.
No. Our Williams says 28 points.
Now that it's our Williams is saying that it's 28 points, I'm not sure that I want to disagree with our Williams. Not sure that I want to take that unnecessarily. All right, let's stick with 28 points. I think it's 28.
All right, 28 it is.
It is 28, isn't it?
I don't know. I've got plenty of records here in front of me, but that makes for boring viewing. So I'm going to just move on, and we'll say that Williams was right as always.
Well, we could say that, yes.
So one of the things I did want to bring up, unrelated to the game tonight, was a young fella I've had my eye on for a couple of years now. I've sort of spoken to you guys about it, but we didn't have a pod to talk about it, so I can talk about it now, I suppose. Young Felix Fertilli, he's been playing in Flegg. He's been named to play for the Jets tomorrow. He's a young prop, still eligible for Flegg. I really think he's going to have a great future, one to watch. I'm really looking forward to see how he takes the step up. He's probably got the opportunity because obviously we moved a bunch of Jets forwards up to first grade tonight with Colhoun and Ueli, but also Max Bradbury is out injured. So Max Bradbury was probably the guy that would have got that step up, but with him out, Felix gets his shot, and I wish him all the best because I think he's going to be great.
Well, that'll be good fun, though. I guess with every crisis comes opportunity. Never waste a good crisis. SJD's just come through and said we have equal for and against with the Storm. Is that correct?
That's an easy one to confirm.
That is an easy one to confirm. Goodness me. SJD,
we do have the same.
That's right. SJD's right. It's 28 because both Rogers had 26. Yeah, you're right, SJD. That's right. It was. Both Rogers had 26 and Kamali got 28. That's right. Yeah, Mike, it's basically all over. G'day, Mike Knight, who's come through in the comments. Bumblebee Tuner, indeed. Is it over yet? It was a great night out there, almost making it to 60. Yeah, we did almost make it to 60. Shame we didn't take the 2 points there. Franco, 3, 2, 1.
You got to go Trindle. He was everywhere. We've spoken about how good it was. I want to give Nickera some points, but I think I'm gonna have to have a rest on Nickera. He got all my points the last few weeks. So yeah, Trindle gets my 3. Atkinson gets my 1. I'm going to give my 2 points to Brayley. There you go.
2 points to Brayley. So Ronaldo scores a hat-trick. Well, how many tries does he have to score to even get in the points?
No, I mean, it was just that. Yeah, Ronaldo was good, wasn't he? Jeez. No, just the direction of the team, the go forward. I want to think that all of that stemmed from the middle, stemmed from the spine, from Brayley, Trindle, Atkinson playing direct, picking the right runners, giving those wingers the space they needed to do what they did. I want to think that we were a professional outfit where it came from the inside out, and the wingers just cashed in So that's where I'm going.
Mike's coming through saying that Ronnie made some great breaks.
He did. But he did that. He also did that last couple of weeks, and we still lost. So no one was giving him points for his big breaks last few weeks. So there's no difference.
Scott Latino's come through in the comments saying Ueli was a beast mode tonight. That's true. I thought Ueli did have a good game. All right, well, that was the Franco's 3-2-1. I will give my 1 point to Braden Trindle. I thought he was competent at halfback and deputised well for Nico. I will say 2 points for Ronaldo Mulatalo in a hat-trick. You can't not reward that performance with some points. And man of the match for mine, I'd love Daniel Atkinson. He is the man, Daniel Atkinson. So that makes me very happy to be able to say that. So, look, I don't know what that means if we see that performance from Daniel Atkinson the next couple of weeks, how you fit him into the team. I have a feeling we might end up having him as the bench player in the semi-finals. We might not want to risk having an outside back injury. He certainly can play all the positions, so that was good fun. All right, that was the ET Stand podcast debrief following the Sharks' 58 points to 6 victory. We'll just hit the song Up Cronulla and play that in the background as we sign off. So good singing Up Cronulla after a match.
I think Cameron Guinness was jealous of Wilton for leading tonight, and he didn't get to lead for his club.
I think Cam McInnes cares about that, mate. That's one thing I don't think he cares. But yeah, no, Cam McInnes is always professional. You saw it last week. He said, he was asked in the interview, who do you think needs to play well? And he said, all of us need to play well. So it's all business. I don't think that's going to affect Cameron McInnes in the slightest, Franco.
No, mate, I don't think so.
I don't think he cared in the slightest. But you're just trying to bait me to give me a chance to give McInnes a hard time. But never mind. All right, that was the ET Stand podcast. The last comments come through is just saying here, Lats is clearly in a little bit late. And then, Mazdad saying 3 points to Boldo for bringing some poor Tigers fans along him. Oh, those poor Tigers fans are mates of mine that were sitting in the ET Stand. They were very good sports, those poor buggers. All right, coming up on the ET Stand this week, we will have our regular Tuesday night show with all of the regular segments. Cecil, thanks for giving us the feedback and saying fantastic show. We're only as good as the Sharks. It's always easy to debrief a win like that, isn't it, Franco? The Sharks could win like that every week. We'd certainly have a lot of people tuning in. So, do tune in on the Tuesday night show, and then we will have a break over the weekend, do a little bit of planning. If there is anything you'd like to see on the ET Stand podcast in the future, or you've got any suggestions for us, or things you'd like us to do, or trivia ideas, or anything like that, please do contact us either via the Facebook page or an email that you can see, or leave a comment on any of the videos or any of the content that we do. We like to read everything and all the comments, and we try to reply to everyone. It is so much fun being the host of the ET Stand and just the community that we're building together and just talking about all the Shark stuff. It's just so much fun, isn't it, Franco? And everyone who's watching and involved with the show, Cecil, Mike Knight, Bumblebee Tuner, SJD, your legend, Nathan Hunt, to our guests that came on tonight, Craig, Peter Bissett, Paul, even though you give us a hard time all the time, Tomo, your legend, Craig Gearan, Kylie, who sits in front of us, my top 12, your cheeky bugger, all of you guys, Ryan, who watch the show, you're all legends, and every time you comment, do get involved. I think that's all of them, and of course, how can I forget Harley? Franco, he's a legend too. So thanks everyone for getting involved. We will see you guys next time on the ET Stand podcast. Up Cronulla.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated. More often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand podcast.